Here's why you can't get past more than 1 mastery in Brawl Stars, coming from someone who has almost 30 masteries. And yeah, you might have 1 or even a few, but there are people out there with so many masteries in the game. Take a look at this guy who has all the masteries in the game. That's more than 80. And he's not the only one with that many masteries. If he and so many others have so many masteries, then why is it so hard for you to get a single mastery? Well, there's several reasons for this. Let's go over it and maybe help you get your first few masteries. Some of the reasons are more important than others, but they're all gonna help you get more mastery points in the end. Reason number 1, you're playing at low trophies. The higher your trophies, the more mastery points you get. And it caps at around 1,150 trophies, where you get 100 mastery points per win. That's not including the star player bonus. Most people trying to achieve their first few masteries are playing around the 600 to 800 trophy range. And if you take a look at this chart, you're only getting 45 to 60 mastery points per win, which means you would need to win at least 400 games if you're consistently staying around this trophy range. That's not the total number of games you need to be playing, that's the total number of wins you need. Chances are you will also lose a lot of games. So yeah, it's a lot more games you need to win than you think at that low trophies. People who actually push a lot of masteries are playing at the 900 plus trophy range. And the people who seem to be getting masteries fairly quickly are likely playing around 1,150 plus trophies for the majority of their push. So how do you even begin to start pushing at higher trophies? Well, that brings me to my next point. Number 2, you're not playing a meta brawler. In other words, you're playing a brawler that absolutely sucks in the current state of the game. For example, Charlie used to be so broken a few months back. It was so easy to get her to rank 35 and just as easy to get her mastery. If you were in a team with no Charlie going up against a team with a Charlie, chances are you're going to lose. But now, if you try to play Charlie, the opposite might be true. Because Charlie absolutely sucks right now. She doesn't do a lot of damage and so many brawlers counter her. And it's not that you can't push her mastery right now, it's just going to be so much harder and take so much more time. So choose the right brawler to push. It's gonna make it a lot easier for you. It's also really likely that you will get star player if you're playing one of these broken brawlers, which will give you those extra mastery points. Which does bring me to my next point, but before we get there, if you don't know what brawlers are meta right now, literally just watch a YouTube video. There's so many YouTube videos posted about the current meta, just make sure it's a recent video. Number 3, you're not playing on the right modes. It is absolutely true that if you're playing on a 3v3 mode, it is so much easier to get those mastery points compared to if you're playing in solos. In duels, the mastery points are split between your brawlers, so yeah, it's obviously a lot slower. And then in solo showdown, it's not that consistent. You're not always guaranteed a win. There's way too many variables, making the possibility to win nearly every single game very inconsistent. I'm talking about teamers, getting a bad spawn, or just getting plain unlucky. There's also only one showdown map out every day, and sometimes it's just not the map that is great for the brawler you want to master. In 3v3s, the games can be a lot more consistent and more variety in what you can play, and a lot easier to find a map that is good for the brawler you want to push. The best modes in 3v3 are Brawl and Heist because you can end some of the games in 30 seconds or less compared to other modes like Knockout or Bounty where players tend to play a lot more safe, or Hot Zone where you have to wait a certain amount of time in the zones. It also just depends on what brawler you're trying to master and what maps are good for that brawler. For example, if you're trying to master Piper, Brawl and Heist isn't always the best mode for her. It's really map dependent, but she's mostly always good in other modes like Knockout or Bounty. So you might just have to play on those maps instead. Tying into number 3, you are not playing on a pre-made team. In a team, you can plan out what combination of brawlers work best on the map you want to play. It's even better if at least one person on your team is using a broken brawler, making it easier to get those consistent wins. Once you have a strategy that works with your team, you're likely going to win every single game you play, making it easier to get those mastery points. If you have no idea how to get these magical teammates that are going to help you win every single game, there are several things you can do. You can check out Brawl Stars Discord servers, you can join my server, join good active clubs in-game, use the play again feature, watch and join small streamers on Twitch or YouTube. Also, if you're already playing the game this much, might as well just make some content out of it. Maybe you'll find friends that way as well. And if you think your friends suck, chances are that you suck too, so just watch some guides on YouTube on how to get better at the brawler and just practice. Trust me, those guides are actually really helpful. My randoms could use them and sometimes I watch them too. Number 5, and I feel like nobody really talks about this, but you're getting burnt out playing the same brawler over and over and over again. The reality is, yes, you're gonna have to play the same freaking brawler over and over again. For someone who doesn't have that patience, yes, it's going to feel like it's taking forever. So make sure you choose brawlers that you actually enjoy playing. Yes, some titles make you want to push the brawler just for their mastery title, but if you're hating the process of it, what are you actually doing with your life? You're trying to get virtual ownership of a sentence in a video game, wasting hours of your time playing a character you don't even enjoy. It's okay to put down the Edgar sometimes and touch some grass. Or simply just pick a brawler you enjoy and have fun playing. That is literally the point of video games, even if you look like a loser with some certain mastery titles. There's always the Brawl Pass ones. Number 6, the most important one. If you don't care about any of the other tips that I said, this one will make the biggest difference. You're not taking advantage of the events in-game. Every few weeks, Brawl Stars does events where we all get extra or double mastery points for that week. Dedicate more time during this weekend. People who are playing and consistently winning are capping out their mastery in 3 to 4 hours. That is crazy. Even if you don't cap out the 6,000 mastery points for the day, you're still getting more mastery points per win than you would have if you didn't play during this event. Everyone always asks me, how do you know when Mastery Madness is? How do I know? How can I tell? Well, I don't think anyone really knows until Brawl Stars announces it, so make sure you're following Brawl Stars on their socials because they always announce it, or you can go into the news tab and check there. I don't know. But Mastery Madness isn't the only event that can help you get more mastery points. During the Godzilla event, if you had any of the mutations that were S tier or even A tier, you had a huge advantage over other players if you're playing in one of the modes that have the mutations modifier. You could have easily gotten trophies and mastery points on brawlers like Hank, Meg, Rico. There's a few really broken ones. Same goes to the SpongeBob event and the power-ups. Most brawlers with the Chum Balls power-up are insanely broken. It's literally aimbot. You can push these brawlers to really high trophies so easily in like the Jellyfish event or any of the other events with the modifier on. Whenever I play a Jellyfish event, it seems like Colt and 8-Bit and there's a few others that have just destroy you in seconds. The last point, and I didn't want to make this a point because it's really obvious, and it's simply that you're not spending enough time playing the game. Most people who have a lot of masteries are spending literally every single day, every waking hour of their life playing the game. And on top of that, a lot of them do it for content or because they're semi-pro players or pro players or aspiring pro players. But the rest of us casual players, it is going to take a lot longer. We're not going to spend that much time playing the game. But I do hope these tips at least help you get your masteries a lot faster.